Most of us operate under a very simple assumption. The ultimate goal of human life is to be happy. We spend our lives trying to find comfort and avoid pain. But if pure pleasure was our only objective, our behavior makes no sense. We willingly choose paths guaranteed to bring us stress, exhaustion, and heartbreak. We sacrifice years of sleep and savings to raise children. We pour energy into difficult art, train until our muscles fail, and commit to long-term relationships, knowing they inevitably involve grief. Why would an organism wired for survival actively invite so much friction into its life? Human behavior is dictated by a more demanding requirement. We need our existence to mean something. For most of human history, simply staying alive took up all of our daily bandwidth. Today, millions of us exist in an environment engineered to eliminate physical struggle entirely, surrounded by endless convenience and on-demand entertainment. This chart tracks a modern divergence. As our standard of living and access to comfort climbs higher over time, it's shadowed by an aggressive upward surge in reported mental health crises, anxiety, loneliness, and a pervasive sense of emptiness. We have confused two very different biological responses. Pleasure feels good in the moment. Meaning provides the justification required to endure suffering. When we optimize society entirely around frictionless comfort, we accidentally starve the human mind of its most critical psychological nutrient. You don't see a deer pausing in the forest wondering if its life has purpose. A lion doesn't lose sleep over its identity. Humans do. As our brains evolved, they developed a heavy burden, the capacity to perceive time. We are hyper-aware of our past, we obsessively project into the distant future, and we understand that our lives will eventually end. To cope with the dread of that reality, the brain developed a defense mechanism. We became storytellers. Watch how these random memories and isolated life events snap together to form a continuous, illuminated timeline. That glowing thread is meaning. It's the story we project onto the chaos of existence to convince ourselves our specific timeline matters. If you remove that internal story, the brain's compass shattered. Life immediately begins to feel unbearable, even if you are perfectly safe and well-fed. This was proven during history's darkest test of psychological endurance, the concentration camps of the Holocaust. Psychiatrist Viktor Frankl was a prisoner in those camps, giving him a deeply tragic vantage point to observe exactly what keeps a human being alive when everything else is stripped away. Frankl noticed something counterintuitive. Survival rates in the camps did not strictly correlate with a prisoner's physical size or strength. The deciding factor was a psychological tether. Those who held on to a reason for the future, a loved one waiting for them, or a piece of work they still needed to finish, they possessed an invisible shield against the horrors around them. Meaning acts as a biological survival tool, providing the psychic armor necessary to walk through fire. Because we rely so heavily on these narratives, losing them is dangerous. Major life transitions, from sudden layoffs to divorces, sever the internal story of who we are. The moment that primary story is removed, the mind goes into freefall. It triggers an intense psychological disorientation and a collapse of identity. A drifting, desperate mind will do almost anything to stop falling. It will sacrifice truth for the illusion of certainty, magnetically drawn toward destructive ideologies or blind, toxic tribalism to feel connected to a group again. The challenge is twofold. We must seek out purpose, while actively defending against the cheap, false narratives that prey on our need for connection. We are often sold a myth that meaning is a hidden treasure, a soulmate, a dream job, or a sudden moment of clarity that resolves every doubt. In reality, meaning is an architectural process. It is built neurologically through small, deliberate, and repeated actions. It grows when you adopt difficult responsibilities, show up for your friends, engage in honest creation, or dedicate your time to serving your local community. You don't arrive at purpose at the end of the road. It is a compass forged in the friction we willingly endure and the quiet choices we make today.